What is going on, guys? It's Cimo. We're here at Pro Play Tour Orlando with your first place. Look at that right there. Actually, I don't know if you can see it because it's transparent. Oh, I got it. Okay. First place winner. What is your name?
Nicolas Ortiz.
And what did you play?
Sky Striker.
Okay, so why did you decide to play Sky Striker in this current meta game?
So I feel in the current meta, for Sky Striker, if you don't brick and your opponent doesn't open up like the auto win cards against Striker, it beats every matchup.
Okay.
So, you know, as long as your deck's just consistent and your opponent isn't sacky, you should win every time, as long as you know what you're doing.
That's fair, and you've been playing the deck for quite a while. So.
Yeah, a little over a year.
Yeah, so you probably know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's what you got.
All right, so 3 Ray. This is Heart and Soul deck. If you don't see it, you lose. Simple as that. It's a powerful card. So we have a really wonky hand trap lineup that seems kind of scrubbish, but I actually worked out really well today. So 2 Ash, 2 Ogre, 2 Imperm, or 2 Bell, and 2 Imperm.
Okay, so what was the reason?
Okay, so the reasoning behind this was I didn't want to open up 2 copies of the same hand trap. Because for this deck, like, if you open up 2 of a hand trap, it's basically a blank in your hand. And when you're playing against any form of aggressive deck, like Thunder, or even the Mirror, you have a little more time for the Mirror, or something like Salamangreat. If you have blanks in your hand, it's really not going to get a lot of value out of that. So the only one you can justify really playing 3 copies of is Impermanence. And I really didn't want to play more than 8 hand traps because I felt like a lot of aggressive and a lot of combo decks were just falling off the meta, which is why I cut Ogre, which was like an amazing card up until like Nibiru and Ruler No More came out, from 3 to 2. And then Bell was absolutely insane today. I played 3 Pure Thunder, and like twice I like belled their Hawk and they passed. Because it negates activation, so they just can't use anything.
Yeah.
They just pass the turn. And then I belled like 2 Call by the Graves. I played against an Orcus matchup, and he went Mermaid. I ashed, he Called by the Grave, and I belled, and he passed. And I belled a Shark Cannon. So like this card has insane value. It was this or Crow, and I decided this in the end just because, you know, Crow in certain matchups like Salamangreat and Sky Striker, it's better. But there are also certain matchups where Bell is just completely dead against, and that's any form of deck that plays Thunder Dragons in it. And I just decided not to. Yeah, this hand trap lineup played real well today.
You got first, so I hope so.
Yeah. So the Striker spells, 1 roll. So 3 never mattered, like unless if you were in the Mirror, and the Mirror also plays only 1 now, so that mattered. So, I mean, I'd like to play 2, but 1's at 1. I like it. It's fine. It only sucks when you banish it off Desires, yeah. But Desires is a whole problem in and of itself. So. But this card like makes you go infinite, and if you like resolve this twice, you win the game. 3 engage, 3 anchor, 3 area 0. So I played 2 area 0 and upstart up until like yesterday, and I decided to play 3 in the end because I was thinking, you know, yeah, opening double area 0 sucks, but if my game plan is if I don't brick with Striker, I win the game. I don't know why I would cut out a card that like lowers consistency. So I decided to put the 3rd one in the last second, and it performed really well today. I only think I bricked once or twice today, and I was not going to win that game anyway. So 2 Cannon. It's great against Orcus, it's great against Salamangreat. Orcus is probably his next toughest matchup. So being able to play the 2nd Shark Cannon is always really good. If you banish one off Desires, you always have the 2nd one. And face tricks with Shizuku. You only have so many targets you can grab, so Cannon being at 2, it like lets you grab that instead of something else at the end phase if you already have an anchor and grave. Yeah, and link climbing. So some things in the extra deck are so easy to get out because of this card. So I felt 2 was a perfect number today. And the 1-ofs, 1 Afterburner, 1 Jamming, 1 Hornet Drones, 1 Heart Base, and then 1 Ego Booster. I almost played 2 of this with like Dark Ruler No More because I wanted to test that build, and I just felt like that was being too extra. I just wanted to keep it cookie cutter and simple. So this all performed really well today. Non-Striker spells, 2 Desires. I think this card sucks. This card's really bad. You just have to play it. If you brick, you just can't play the game. Versus like if you Desires and you banish a roll, you banish 2 engages, but you like draw a Ray, at least you can play now. So it's that big difference of like, yeah, being like super crippled or being like unable to play, period. So I decided to play this card. Yeah, if you banish your roll to roll, it sucks. But ideally, if you're playing Striker and you see this in your opening hand, you don't need to activate it. You don't have to. There were like 3 games where I had this in hand, I just never used it because I felt like I had absolutely no need to do so. So if you really are scared about it, if your hand's like good, you're playable, you can just like keep that and like not activate it. So 2 Cosmic Cyclone.
So how'd you like this?
So it was broken. Orcus, like I said, hardest matchup. So being able to force out a crescendo with this card is super necessary. When you're playing against Striker, hitting the roll makes it completely like completely unable to get the card back. Hitting area 0 is insane. because then they don't get the Ray. And play something like Salamangreat too, like banishing a Rage or Roar so they can't get it back is really good.
Now you're talking about consistency. How do you feel about this versus MST?
Okay, so my thing about MST is, for Striker, you really want to play around hand traps. And when you have to MST your Area Zero and they ash you, you kind of just lose the game. So the thing I weighed was like, yeah, I probably brick 2 or 3% more of the time, but when I don't brick and I play the matchups that are really hard where Cosmic is so much better than MST, it really pays off. There's only like maybe 1 or 2 times today where I would have liked to that this Cosmic was an MST compared to like the dozen times where I was just glad this was Cosmic versus not MST.
Okay.
I can see why people would play MST, but I feel like this card is just too much better right now.
Sure.
So stuff, 2 Foolish Goods and Metal Fusion, that's pretty standard. 1 Rhoda, 1 Terraforming, and 3 Gobs, there can be only 1. I was playing Summon Limit for a while, and I decided, yeah, Summon Limit's just better than this card if you go first, but you simply just don't go first all the time. So when you go second, this card's a lot better against certain matchups, like Salamangreat. If they already set up their board, and they have a Sunlight Wolf, a Stalio, and then the Jack Jaguar or a Balinx, and you have Summon Limit, it doesn't really do anything. If you put there can be only 1, yeah, they're probably going to keep the Sunlight Wolf, but that's all they can do for the entire turn. They need to out this card. It's very difficult for them to do so. Or when you're playing against Orcust, if they already have an established board of like Galatea and Gearsu or something like that, you can send it to Grave. Turns off all of their Orcust, like Heart Board can't trigger, they need to make other things. And even the mirror, like the first turn you flip this in the mirror isn't that bad. If they make high attack and you flip this, they can't go Kagari, they can't go Shizuku, so they're down a turn in tempo. So this card was just so much better, and I'm really glad I played this card. It was good against Pendulums too. Some was probably a little bit better in that matchup, but when a lot of the Endymion decks are out right now, so everything's really spellcaster like reliant. So this card just completely like stops that strategy.
40.
Yep, 40. Alright, extra deck. 1 Kagari, 3 Shizuku, 3 Hayate, and then 1 Kaina. Never in my life needed 2 Kaina.
Okay.
I think it's completely unnecessary to play 2. Never once ever needed to do so. If you're ever in a situation where you need to summon a second Kaina, something's wrong. You're probably losing. So you have better options in this extra deck to like make more diverse plays. 1 Phoenix, and then 1 Cerberus. So the only reason why I play this today is I was really scared of like if I Nibiru'd my opponent, I didn't have a way to get rid of the token. So all of a sudden I'm facing down like a 10,000 attack token, and I just die. So I want to have some form of out to that. I never summoned it, it never came up, but I'm still glad I played it just for that safekeeping. I summoned Nibiru like 5 or 6 times a day, and more often than not I was able to out it without summoning this card. But I just want to have it just in case.
It's a flex spot if anything.
Yeah.
You know.
1 Hida, it's great against Pendulums, good against Salamangreat, good against the Mirror if they're stupid. And the Spice was the Barricade Board blocker.
All right, so how did you like this?
Okay, so this card has 2 effects.
We saw you do this, I think, in your round 7 feature?
Yeah, and he had Ogre.
Yeah.
So the first effect is you can discard a card to like add multi-roll back to hand, and that effect never happens. You never use that. The second effect is while it's on the field, face-up spells can't be destroyed. So against pretty much every matchup, if you resolve roll for 4, you win the game. There's no reason why you shouldn't be like winning a game where you like set 3 or set 4 off roll. So my thing was like the decks that play Ogre, which is like Striker or Salamangreat, you want that roll to resolve. So a lot more often than not, I'll like take a guy and then I'll make a Barricade Board and I'll have a roll up. So like if they have the Ogre, then they just lose. And if they didn't have the Ogre, I'm setting 4, so I win anyway. It was just absolutely insane today. I played 2 Striker players. One of the Strikers had Ogre when I summoned this. I had 2 Thunder players that had Ogre when I summoned this. I had a Salamangreat player that actually tried to Ogre this when I had this on field. So this card's like versatility is absolutely insane.
Sure.
And then 1 Ningirsu. It's to out wonky stuff. The big Endymion guy and like a bunch of other like weird road decks. You can like send your field spell to the grave and send another card for like a cool combo. You just have to play this card because you never know what's gonna happen at like the first couple rounds of an event. And then Link 4s I played were Boral Sword and then Bomber. Boral Sword's pretty like standard, and then Bomber's actually just really good because if you equip this thing with Hercules base, 6,000 damage, draw 2.
It's so good.
Game against pretty much anything. It's great against Pendulums because you get the Electromite and you put Bomber, and then they just can't play. They have a very difficult time outing this card, especially if it's like supported by an Eagle Booster.
Attack the Nibiru token too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or you're playing in Salamangreat, and they get rid of the Balinx. Like everything just gets nuked.
Yeah.
So whenever you summon this card, you're basically just solidifying the game. Because there are some decks that can just come back out of nowhere. So you should make sure want to solidify that game, make sure that you can like this deck can't really kill you very fast. So you always have to give your opponent a couple turns left, your hand is insane. So this card helps you make it so that you just get the secure next turn to win. That's it for the extra deck.
Yep.
The side deck, 3 Nibiru. So I actually side this against the weirdest matchups. So I don't side this against Pendulum because they usually just set up a negate before they do anything. But I sided this card against Pure Thunder and Salamangreat. because the Salamangreat typical combo when they go Baelink Stalio, Stalio is their 5th summon.
Yep.
So if you Nibiru them, they have a 900 defense token, which can just attack over already, and they almost always pass unless they have a will. That's usually just a 1-of. And then against Pure Thunder, because you can activate this at any point in time in the main phase. If they set up like double Colossus Titan, you just end of main phase Nibiru them, and yeah, they have a big token, but you don't have to deal with Colossus or Titan. So this card's just ridiculous when you do that. And I didn't play against any Danger Thunder, so I probably would have sided against them. Just be careful with Apollosa. Just summon it whenever they have the ability to make an Apollosa. But yeah, every time I saw this card in my opening hand, I don't think I lost. I never drew this for turn, which is probably the only downside of this card. Well, if you resolve this card, you should not be losing. 3 Lance, yeah, that's pretty standard, just against Orcus and stuff. 3 Shared Ride. I wanted some form of edge in the mirror, and it was this or White Howling, and I chose this card in the end because you can technically side this card going first against Salamangreat, because they pick up 3 to 4 cards from deck or grave when they do so. So it had some flexibility there. This is also just an instant win against Sky Striker. You can't play the other win cons, like Anti-Spell or Order, but this card basically does the same thing, completely stops their turn. And 3 Evenly, I don't really like this card. I just wanted to be there in case I played some random deck, like an Altergeist, some popularity there. Shout out to DZ. And it's not against Pendulums or Salamangreat because they usually put a negate up. I think I only ever sided this once in the mirror because I didn't realize my opponent was very strong. So if your opponent is a striker player and just doesn't play around this card, you can just absolutely bolt them out. And then the last tech of the day was a 3 copy of Typhoon.
Oh man.
So I wasn't playing Twin Twister today for a couple of reasons. So like, as I said earlier, the only 2 ways Striker loses is if you brick or your opponent opens up like the instant wins, the God cards. And then Typhoon stops the God cards besides like Eradicator. It stops Order and it stops Anti-Spell. So I didn't want to play Twin. I was thinking, you know, if they have the Anti-Spell or whatever and I try to Cosmic and they roar me, yeah, I just lose. But I wanted the Typhoon because, yeah, I don't get the pop 2, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that the Anti-Spell is gone, in which case you can keep playing and can usually win the game. And it's also just really good against Pendulums because they're playing the Endymion cards now. So when they have Servant up, you do it like on the 3rd spell before they get their thing, and you trigger the Typhoon, like pop the Servant or pop anything else, and the Servant brings out the big guy, and the big guy is the only thing you care about. So if that thing's gone, you don't have to deal with that card. You're having an infinitely better time playing the game. So I really like this card, and also you can hit multi-roll. I didn't side it against the Striker matchup, but I was really happy with this card. This card actually just overperformed today.
Cool. Any shoutouts?
Yes, I have a lot of shoutouts because it took a long time to get here. So everyone in Gainesville and Tampa who like helped me get to this point, I'm just gonna run down the names. Shout out to Daniel, George, Adrian, Cena, Charlie, and Rico from Tampa. Shout out to Ryan. Shout out to Ryan. He probably would have won the event if things weren't as unfortunate as they were. Shout out to Javi, John, Phoebo, Sammy, Lewis, Julian, Sebastian and Logan Todd, Nick Jettison, Melvin and Caitlin, Sebastian Sanchez over there. Shout out to Jerry Mitchell. He was a great sport. He helped me a lot throughout the entire weekend. The Benavides brothers. Shout out to Sunshine Games, best card shop in Tampa. Shout out to Ben and Lancaster for being there. Shout out to my family. When I was like 16, I was still a minor. My parents were always super supportive and like, would take me to YCSs, take me to events. They took me to nationals in 2016. And, I have to thank my parents for that. So they helped me get as competitive as I was, just because they were willing to like come with me to my events. Cool. So shout outs to them.
Perfect. Awesome. Hopefully we'll see you at the Invitational in January.
Oh, I hope so.
10 grand on the line.
Oh, I gotta get that, dude. That pays for college.
Thanks so much, man.